Okay, thanks everyone for coming along tonight. For those who didn't catch me away, I'm Katie Evans. I'm briefly staff with the FAW Trust, so I'm the development manager for the Gwent region. Tonight's really exciting. It's the last of the roadshows that's planned to be doing across Wales, looking at how to grow your club more than just on the pitch. We have had the best turnout, so thank you and well done for coming along. It's a great start and we're really excited to work with you to develop your clubs. Pass over to Stan. Thank you for spending all the time in Happy Wales, and hope you get a lot out of it tonight. Ask as many questions as you like. This is for your benefit more than anything. We are live streaming on Facebook, so anyone that's missed any of their roadshows across the country, they're able to tune in tonight. So it is on there, and we'll see what the interaction is.
Thank you. Evening, boys and girls.
Yeah.
Thank you for turning up and keeping up your time. I often tell people I'm halfway between a serious consultant and a stand-up comedian. I've got a golden retriever, and sometimes he comes along to these workshops, and he knows all my jokes now. So halfway through the workshop, oh my God, here we go again, half an hour to go. Yeah. For housekeeping, tomorrow morning you will receive an email from us. You'll also receive a link to the presentation, so you can share that on your colleagues, and you get some other stuff. This is part of a 2-year project that we're delivering from the FAW Trust to help clubs in Wales become more interclass. That's that. Another thing is, the next 2.5 to 3 hours, you are not allowed to think we couldn't do this here because. If after 3 hours you think we can't do this, fine. Because I'm going to tell you lots of stories tonight. All stories of people like yourself, from Wales, or from Scotland, or from Denmark, or whatever, who've been doing exciting stuff this sports. This is not rocket science. But one thing we know is we need to do more to grow our clubs. Sport is changing, life is changing, and if you don't change with it, you're in trouble. I've also seen lots of exciting stories of people who have changed with it, who are doing exciting stuff. And they're much more fun. That's the background. So who am I? I'm a Dane. I came over from London 30 odd years ago for 6 months, and somehow I got lost. So I'm still here. I got an MBA, I'm completely white, I work in media and marketing. And at one point, some years ago, well, I was 48, 49, I was in charge of a ton of people doing strategies and board meetings, and I was bored of this. And you think they'd be bent from the office, it's a lousy manager, so you need it. And now we're going to take called Norwich, North Yorkshire, halfway to Harrogate, New York, and we have a wonderful time there. And tomorrow morning, I'll be going to MoreThanAClub, on 6 o'clock. That's my background. What on earth got me into sport? Why did I say my safe word in this life? Lots of money. Because I was 48, I was bored, and I took it on with me. And I thought, what am I doing now? My wife said I couldn't get myself a young business, and I don't like Harley Davidson really, and I thought I looked silly with a ponytail, so what did I do? I got myself a golden retriever. That's how brilliant as I am. His name was Gold, Dane Cheers. He's long gone, unfortunately. And I was working in Bedford, outside London, working from home, Portsmouth. I was doing something different. So I started taking him to walks, obviously. And in Bedford, again, was a sports place, and it's a club in Bedford called a match. There's a big model club called Bedford Blues, semi-pro club, but also a small model club called Bedford Athletic, as the F. So on, at the F playing level 6, we had 2 semi-pro players and some amateurs, blah, blah, blah. About 200 players. And about 3 pitches and an older club. So I started going over. One day I said to my wife, you know what, I'm going to go over there and watch a game. At that point, I didn't have a clue about rugby, because we don't play rugby, and I've been running around for other things. So I went over there Saturday afternoon, paid £5 to get in. I could bring him into the clubhouse, and there was about 150 people outside, 10 minutes before kickoff. I went to the bar, bought a pint. This is a rugby club after all. And we stood there. We got out. Guess what happened? Right, nothing. Person walks into clubhouse, looks around, looks lost, and no one speaks to him. That wouldn't happen in Wales, would it? I know I'm not George Clooney Black Pig, but you know, this is 30 years ago. I think they those days. Anyway, long story short. So, oh, this is interesting. Nice place. The funny thing is, some of these guys are my friends now. So we met outside, and there were about 20 people there watching the Ath play against Kettering, or whatever they're playing against. And I thought, this is a different language. They're using words like rock and roll and line out. Is that all that? They didn't have a clue what was going on. Why aren't they throwing forward more forward? I was a bit quiet because I realized that I didn't think to say. I went home. It's nice. What should we say to get that? One guy came over and said, oh, why we're back? Because we think it's talking about the fact that you came down here and we hadn't seen it before. Now I'm living out and I'm to get it. So can I ask a question? Who do you play rugby for? I actually never played rugby in my life. I just bought the roughest guy to rugby to find what on earth is going on there. And he says, how is this? What are you doing here? These guys weren't being unwelcoming, they weren't being unfriendly, they weren't using anybody new or into their little world. Through some chats with people, I realized the club was a deep financial tool. I thought maybe these guys need a hand. I know a fair bit about marketing and media, so I'm going to do something. And I'm not going to tell you about the adoption program. As we all know, we can't get volunteers, can we? No. So when your volunteers turn up, what do we do? As you can gather, I'm not too shy, and I'm quite good at shaking hands and say hello to people. It would be nice, wouldn't it, if somebody in the club said, this is our committee, this is who we are, this is... I know at your club, if I turn up there, there are people saying, no, we're considering to make sure people volunteers feel engaged. We don't do it. Okay, so many rugby clubs organize their pre-match lunches. And it's always about former players and vice presidents, and normally the service they keep it high, which is normally completely and utterly. I do everything. In Wales, I know there's all wonderful food, always rugby club is all nice, and sometimes even I've been to clubs where I might go to retrieval. And here we normally eat anything. So I said, we need to do something because the club is in fancy tutu. So I said, let's make a difference. Why don't we do an 80s lunch? Remember, at that point, I had some advantages. The club had to do something because it was really bad news in terms of finances. 2, I didn't know you couldn't do it. So I wasn't one of them because I came from the outside world of customers and service and engagement and stuff. 3, I'm a bit mad. Let's go. So, bar manager, I'm going to be organizing an 80s lunch. Can we make sure we got some decent white wine? I got a bottle open 2 weeks ago. No, we need to have lots of Chardonnay and different. Okay, fine. You also have a kitchen. Guy out of the kitchen, what can we serve the ladies? I can do burgers and chips, the kids love that. They need to do something different. One of the ladies involved with the club, married one of the cooks, said to me, I want a catering company. So, 50 ladies turned up. Wonderful time. You know what? The champagne was filled. I had a very good time. I thought I can organize a quiz. What's the difference between a scrum and all? It's all good fun. Really good. So what did I do? I walked around and said, welcome to people. Okay, that's normal, isn't it? What happens when you say, welcome to people? You find out who they are. Including the lady who invited down there by one of her new colleagues. Just said, move to Bedford. Why? She was director at this bank in Bedford. response. Didn't say like that because it's a bit too obvious. She had a very much time enjoyed herself. She started all night getting locked up. But she used into a corporate tournament. Guest at summer hall. 1 year there were 40 clients, but that was back in Bedford summer hall. So what happens is you do a new activity, you get new people to come to your club, you make sure they enjoy themselves. Wow, new things happen. We didn't start doing it for the players' lunches. We changed our caterers to make sure the food was edible. And I appreciated that. So that day, I think we made about £4,000. Thank you very much. I thought I could walk on water. We are now 10 minutes before kick-off. Everybody's having a great of time. Wow! One of our biggest sponsors had some of his staff up there in the secretary. And they say, what is it like down here? Never been down here, the secretary said. It's Sven is a bit mad, the food is wonderful, but the toilets stink. No, I haven't been to my toilets because my mom walked me up to. That's the thing. Knock on the door, went up there, and they were like, oh, these toilets were these toilets. Following morning, the carpenters, the plumbers, the decorators make sure all the toilets. Okay. Simple. I'm not going to tell you guys the men a secret. 51% of the UK population is female. They like clean toilets. Since then, I've been to more female toilets and sports clubs than anybody else in the whole world. And practically speaking, most of them are this way. So if you want to go to your club, make sure you have clean toilets and toilet paper. Let's go back to him. There he is. So on match days, I would come up and say hello, welcome, and he'd come up and say hi. His partnership was he was able to go and manage trips himself. That's pretty good, isn't it? By the way, have you seen the welcome in better athlete enjoy the atmosphere? It's good, isn't it? It's actually my wife, and there's type of one taking the match day for it now. This one. That became a club store, so they enjoy the atmosphere. That's quite nice, isn't it? That says business well. So now I can go to my team and walking around with the club logo and everybody's watched it. What was interesting was the club first team got promoted twice in 2 years. Because we've got better players. 1 year in the club into Twickenham and playing the junior club. 2,000 people with a benefit of Twickenham to want to get in the club. You couldn't come, what? Oh no, what? That wasn't why we didn't. We didn't really know we were doing it. It wasn't easy. Of course we had people saying we can't do this. You know what? It was fun. The Greek goddess for wisdom is Athena. Our ladies club evolved into a group of ladies called Athena, a support group for making bottom. Because all that stuff has started to happen. At one point, I did some work for the IFU in England. I suggested to them that there's quite 1,000 gold retrievers with the box jobs. That idea wasn't approved, I'm sure. It's all about being welcoming place. I started going to the weekends the first year. So at that point, we were in the leagues. So we were playing, we had 5,000 miles of the season. Thank you, Steve. We named the stopping point on the A1. I know it. And I got to a great clubs, and I realised that the good clubs have things in common, the bad clubs have things in common. So why don't we all do the good clubs? What's wrong? And I rang the IFU and said, excuse me guys, I would like to run our club better, can you help us? And they basically said, we can give you a course in safeguarding, we can give you a coaching course, and we can help you run the club. Oh, that's a bit weird. Because I can see the challenge. So long story short, I started doing this. So what we basically say is a club has to be vibrant, visible, and live. What is White? It's a nice place, isn't it? It's fun. It's got nothing to do with what sport you're doing. It's got nothing to do whether you've got a fancy clubhouse or whether you haven't got a clubhouse. It's about the people. It's about the atmosphere what you're creating. It's about people. It's about being a place where people want to be. Wherever they are. If you're vibrant, you can become visible. If you are visible, if people don't know where you are, how will you go? Remember one of the workshops we did out in Oxfordshire? There was a tennis club there, and he emailed me the following morning saying, I went home for your workshop, I've been living in this village for 25 years, I've been chairing a tennis club for 50 years. I got home and I realized I couldn't see the tennis club from here by High Street. I drove into the car park, it was dark, it was cold, it was dreadful, I've been the chairman for 50 years. Our next committee meeting is going to be very long. How can we become visible? It's good time. It's been over 50 years to be chairman. Some years ago, the World Acting Association in Yorkshire asked me to do a workshop for their clubs. Sailing clubs in Yorkshire? Scarborough, yes. Apparently, there's about 50 or sailing clubs in Yorkshire over the years. So, where I live, I googled it and realized that actually a sailing club about literally 7 minutes from where I live. That one I've been living there for 8 years. That's not very visible, is it? So where I am, you go into Heralded and you go down there, and when you turn right down that page, that's where the sailing club is. So I went to the pub and asked the guys, do you realize there's a sailing club around here? And one guy said, of course, there's I know that. But there was one guy, and it's not very visible, is it? Then I realized there was actually the following holiday Monday, there was actually an open day. Wow, fantastic. And I also saw on the website that this is a center of excellence for sailing. Okay, so then holiday Monday, Retrieve and I go to the sailing. And I couldn't see the sailing club. Then I saw a lake. Sailing club there. And now that we are outside the sailing club, there's a sign about twice that size. Saying River Sailing Club, members only. This is the open day. That's not particularly lovely. And that wouldn't happen in the way it happened. So the Retrieve and I go in there. You know what? Behind that wall, behind all the trees, there's a wonderful sailing club. Kids in the day, people chatting running about. Nice clubhouse. This is nice. Okay. So I walked down the bar there with the Retrieve. And went to the clubhouse and my fiber to buy wine. No one in the clubhouse. 15 minutes, how much work it was. We went to the club. This is the open day. Right, a few weeks later, at the workshop, and 2 people from that club turned up. I didn't want to embarrass them, so I had a quiet word and say, you realize you came to the open day. Why didn't you come and talk to us? For 15 minutes, I stood there and said, they couldn't see the fact that they were making sure it's open to me. I know it wouldn't happen to your club when you be open day. I've been to a number of open days. I've never been anybody who said no. And no one has ever said no. If you're vibrant and visible, it can become vibrant. Dead, invisible clubs cannot become vibrant. That's impossible. There used to be 7,000 cricket clubs in England and Wales 10 years ago. Now there's 5,500. That's 20%. They didn't die because there are too many members and so much money, did they? If you get this, you are halfway there. It's not about money, it's about being vibrant and visible. So who are we? In the last 4 years, we've been doing this project here. It's the cricket Scotland. That won the best cricket development program in the world. Some of the big science ones there. It is with FAW Trust. Do a lot of FAW with Sports Scotland. In a couple of months' time, start doing project for Wilson Fidget. The Copenhagen City Council last year was not being applied. We've been asked to do a similar project for handball building. Handball in 2010, there were 35 schools in the handball club. This summer there was 50. Up in Manchester, there's a boxing club in the middle of the traffic housing state. Traffic housing. They're based in the community center. And they've been growing. We've got a gym club this size. We complete our little gym. How do we now get develop that club? We got £100,000 for England. They're also got 300,000. Why would Traffic Housing Association give them £300,000? Because they keep the kids in the housing association off the streets and keep it open. You've got a kid there who lost 2 stone in 3 years. Pretty exciting, isn't it? If you guys are going to grow, one of your biggest partners is going to be housing. Housing and shitloads of money contact with that. They don't give a hoot about football. They care about their tenants being active. There was one guy in a housing association, I'm seeing in 2 weeks' time in London. They estimate that housing association, which is Britain's biggest, Aylesbury, that 20% of the tenants don't need the housing. That's bad news, isn't it? By the way, that housing association is associated with the guys like St. Thomas in the big hospital. My fee will be paid for by health. We've got 2,500 kids being taught. We want to make sure that things keep going. That's so this, all these doors there. So, how do we need to attract and serve customers? That kid or that parent or that person will walk into that door. As I tested. And those who can talk 5G. Customers have a choice. You don't have to do this. If they don't like what you're doing, don't like your coach, they won't come back. And you know what they're going to do? If they don't like you, you're going to tell their mates. On Facebook. Oh, you know what else I'm doing? If they like you, you're going to tell their mates on Instagram and Facebook. You need to do that in a sustainable way. What I mean by that is, it's a bit like going in a pub and serve free beer. Ain't popular. They won't last long, will it? Sport should be free for everybody. So should beer, I think. My golden thing, I think, that's sport strategy to be everybody. You need somehow to make sure you do this in a way that you can keep going. And serving a football and community purpose. You will hear the word community now this evening, dozens and dozens of times. If you're just a football club, you will swallow. So, little test. Where's your club? On a scale of 1 to 10, are you a true community enterprise or you are a bunch of idiots, the walking wood? It's not a test, you won't be thrown out if you don't have the right answer. Which I guess in your class. Give and take. What do you say, guys? 7. Okay. What do you think of what this is? 6. Any other takers?
Between 6 and 7.
Okay. It's interesting. 90% of clubs we come across in these workshops say 6 or 7. You know what? The clubs have 2 out of 10 don't turn up. Why should they? Why should they change? It's your fault. Give them not. I should, I think what we're doing is the internet, society, you need it, the better. Council. And we can help you clubs go from 6 or 7 to 9 or 10. If you want to do it. Don't want to do it, you can't do it. That's it. The fact you're here, you're doing all right, you want to do better, is a fantastic indication of where you want to go. And you're all different environments, and God knows what, some of you are in the middle of the city, some of you are in the middle of nowhere, God knows what. The fact you're 6 or 7 out of 10, I think is fantastic. So, this is the model. In 8 slides, and again, I will send this to you tomorrow morning, so you have that. First thing is you need a vision. Where is your club for? Needs some leadership. Needs to be welcoming. Needs to be for the community. Hang on, the community is for the club, isn't it? Not for the community. If you do that together, you need to have a great place. You need to be fun. You need to communicate. You need to have an income. And finally, we need to find some people. Now, I'm not asking you to do more work to volunteer. I'm asking you to be open and flexible to bring in some more new people. You know what the best of the market club? They never ask me to close lines. Can't do that. That's how simple it is. So if you want me to come to your club and be a goalkeeping coach, that would be a stupid idea. Because I can't be a goalkeeper. If you want to come to your club and organize an event, I will do it. The right people. Just because somebody was a good goalkeeper doesn't make a good treasurer. Right? How often do we see, well, you could be a treasurer. What's a spreadsheet? Okay, do any of you guys know anywhere, you all know about the Coach of the Year report, correct? Fantastic. Do any of you guys know anywhere where there's a spot called the Club Treasure of the Year report? Doesn't exist, does it? It's only money for Christ's sake, so if you can pay it off, who cares? So, this is the road. That road there is being real. That's the build. These guys, 2 years ago, sat down, spent the whole day discussing where you want to go, what you want to do, what are we for. Over there, we've got an English word. That could be the committee or the sports shop. In the front, we've got the chair. I'm in the chair here for 24 years, and nothing happens here unless I say so. The government will give me some more. And why can't I get it in lead? I mean, those guys are behind him is the first team manager on the senior side. All he wants is a better goalkeeper so he can make the slide so he can make the whole keeper down. All that matters. Behind him is the chair of the social committee. Him is like of Christmas lights. No one turns up, but it's wonderful Christmas. No new ideas happen there. And then finally we got this thing called FAW. See the chair to do something. He's trying to make some changes. And the other day they nearly came to blow the committee meeting because they asked, why is the first team doing away coaches when the kids go away the first class? The first team manager. That club is called faffing about. Not thinking about it. Faffing about for management term in my book. I do have a slide I was thinking of those, but I won't show you that. You should do. So, what is your club for? If you ask the committee members, separately, a piece of paper, what is your club for? And you compare the answers. I think it would be surprising. But if you're a goalkeeper, the club is for, how can you go forward? I always say, it's a bit like having a tweet. I help sports clubs become vibrant, visible, and attractive. And people, that's what we do. So if you want me to come and do a goalkeeping course, that would be a good idea. So let's give an example. If I said to you guys, I've got £5,000. Yeah. I don't know. Let's say that. And I said to you, for £5,000, you can send the under 15s team to the tournament in Ireland. For £5,000, you can get a goalkeeper. Over £5,000, you can improve your performance. That's a good choice. How many of you guys would send out under 15s to Ireland? Okay. How many of you guys would send that money in the new goalkeeper? How many of you guys would, so all you guys would send that money in the clubhouse? Okay. Would the first team manager lead that? Have you ever seen this one? I'm being a bit naughty now, I know that. But trust me, that discussion is a really important discussion. I'll give you some examples later on. The first thing is, what is your club for? Because if you're just a football club, who will you attract? People of football. That's absolutely it. You become a bit isolated, won't you? Because unless, if you're just yourself, the only world, why should I come in? But if it has one club, it's like that. It was just one club. It wasn't a conscious decision, but that's how it evolved. Many sports clubs end up being like that because that's how we do it. And no one want to come in from the outside world and say, why don't you change and why can't we? And all the rest of it. Whereas if you're more than a club, you're part of the community, you're part of something, you can grow your income, you can be more. It's a mindset. It's not rocket science, this. But trust me, I've seen people just being that sport. So that's that. What is your club? 2, management and leadership. In sport and in football, we love management. Forms, policies, strategies, all that stuff. That's wonderful. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't change. And one thing we learned is, if you don't change, we go down. Many years ago, my wife and I were sitting in front of Coronation Street and do this. It's called stuffing envelopes with flies. It's a long time ago. Up with an envelope, isn't it? Then we start doing this. It's called fax machines. Now I do this, and 9,000 emails go out. Now I'm really nice. If I'm still stuffing envelopes, I wouldn't be here, would I? I wouldn't have a business. So leadership is about change, it's about movement. Then we've got some goldfish. There's some normal goldfish, and this is Kevin, the green goldfish. They're quite rare, and they're leaders. Kevin is very clever because he's realized now that they need to change because they're running out of food. The other goldfish are all right, you know what, we're not going to change, don't worry, life is fine. You know what it's like, something will happen, something will come up. The government will come up with something, get a grant, all those things. And Kevin says, no. Kevin's quite clever because Kevin's Google. So he's Googling there and realized, over here is all of food. So we need to move, we need to change. Okay. Also Kevin said, Simon the shop is here. So we change there are difficulties, there's risks. And Kevin said, you know what? If we have an exercise routine and change, become fit, we can spend past Simon into sleep. So, 2 of the fish said, so this fell off, Kevin, we can change. The other one said, fine, we'll change. We got Kevin fit. And 2 weeks later, they said, spend past Simon, live over here now, every day. I'm not going to tell you how to do fish with that. Have I seen people, those 1,500 cricket clubs that didn't change, they died. If you go to Leeds, there's a club called MoreThanAClub Cricket Club. It's MoreThanAClub Cricket Club. And we go there every so often, once a year. Why? Because they do a fantastic open weekend. It starts on Saturday morning, where they have a big tournament. And in the afternoon, they have the most overs bowled in the afternoon. 732 overs bowled by the junior section. This is what Guinness Book of Record. So that's for the kids in our Guinness Book of Record. Okay, that's fantastic. On a Sunday morning, we go down there because one of the sponsors at Dr. Park in the pet shop organizes squash, and 300 people turn up for those. Pay £2 each. Next year, I'm going to enter my golden retriever into the Baggies team competition. In the afternoon, we have the dance and dance competition. It's a vibrant and visible club. Living in the new clubhouse we have been, one of the players there, the second team is a lecturer at the local college. 140 college students go to the clubhouse with all the bricks and the club, all the stuff. So because that link up, they now got a fantastic clubhouse at a fraction of the local cost. That's called leadership and change. Doing things. Why aren't other teams clubs like that? Because they're different delivery. They're doing things. So, no, I haven't made this one up. You can almost say the clubs meet church. Church meet clubs. The funny thing is, not too far from where I live is River Cathedral on Saturdays. And every Maybank holiday afternoon, my retriever and I go out there because we take part in the local beer festival, one of the cathedral. They raise £15,000 on a Monday afternoon. The place is packed. But also happens is the bishop walks around there with the vicars and talking to people. And I see notes having conversations with the vicars. Notes would not go up in the church door and say, have a chat. But after 2 pints and they're heading away, they start sitting down and have a chat with the vicar about life. So if you want to make change, you can, even if you're a church. Our local village church is dead. And 5 minutes down the road, the church is because it is dead. So we need to get away from that group there to that group. There's a woman there, by the way, and of course she's there to make the change in the notes of the meetings. Can you imagine say to those guys, you know what guys, let's set up an Instagram account. You wouldn't have one. We have to be in the same committee with them. Have I been to committees like that? Yeah. In England, yes. I was getting away as well. We need to get away from just being committee meetings to project groups. I was on a committee for 5 years. It was a slow death. So we need to get away from that and have that more leadership so we're able to attract those kind of people who want to make a difference. I call them change makers. The other day I was in a big sports club somewhere. One-to-one workshop, I was asked to go in there and help them to change because otherwise they would see the problems. And then the other thing is, so what are we going to do? You know what? No, what's not one single thing that we're going to do to make sure that they don't die. Complete waste of money and time to try and change this. If you don't want to do it, how will you guys become vibrant in this life? So, we now got a leadership, we've got a vision, now we need to provide a great experience. British Gymnastics is the only governing body I know that's actually asked 8,000 members of the class why they left the class. Main reason for all the Olympics and culture. By the way, as far as I know, it's the only governing body of sport that has ever asked why we leave. It's a bit sad, isn't it? The older the young people got, the more important the social aspect became. Money was the only reason I was saying. So when people say we can't afford it, it's what? I'm in the sports club where people sitting on iPhones that cost more than I can earn. When trainers I can't afford, saying we can't afford anything. I sometimes say it's what you do, if it's worth paying for, people will pay for it. Also in tough areas. 81% of young people said it's not taken care. Do you know when people don't come back? Why they don't come back? You must. If you guys, believe it or not, I get most of my work now from recommendations in a month. Okay, that people say going to be really fun. They're not very much aware of how people say or how they think. So, do you provide that great experience? This one is your normal. I was told the golf club secretary who said to me, "Sven, of course we will community members as long as the handicapped will." That one there. What you doing? I said, last week. What did they say? Oh, in the league force. So, how welcome is your club? Yes, I am obsessed with welcoming. Because if you are not welcoming, then people come down to the club and won't come back. So, let's go. How welcoming do you think your club is?
Probably 2.
2, okay. Why do you so well? What's the secret? Is that secret?
I don't know. We have got a nice committee, working committee. Our challenges are elsewhere.
Any other answers?
3.
The 3? Some people say depends on who's there. If you've got 43 coaches or 30 coaches, are they all welcome? Is it part of that culture? Because if you fact, Johnny, one thing I discovered is many coaches are close are coaching against kids. In fact, Johnny, in fact, Jeanette, you can't play football. Sometimes they ignore. They don't know, sometimes they know. The whole thing about that parent who stands there in swimming, there's a term called a poolside hooker. That's the role, they are more like assistants for the swimming instructors. So many people feel that if they come back with their parents, quite simple, isn't it? I've been swimming for 15 years, I come back there, somebody to talk to me. Right, here's an example from Scotland. It was a community club I've been working with for 3 years now. And Falkirk, was based at Glasgow. And they moved, they sold a piece of land to housing, so a bit of money in the kitchen, and moved to a field. The money was sitting in the bank, but because of the interest rate, wasn't generating the income. So they said, how do we move forward? So I never wanted the club to get involved in this program, saying, we want to move forward. So I turned up there, and they had 2 dairy barns. It was the physical development morning, and what I'm doing here. So we sat down and started, where do you want to go, what do you want to do? This happened. This Indian said we wanted to Scotland's friendliest group. Not the best, not the biggest. Okay. So you remember at the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow, when the nations walked in there, no one had a big sign saying whatever island or whatever. There is the Commonwealth Games in Glasgow. It was a Western Terriers who were carrying it into the country. So the junior sects, they call themselves the Westerners. It's called. Remember my golden retriever with the local Matana? So the Westie, now Westie, the couple. They're welcome pack. Where am I trying to sell cricket to all the parents who don't know cricket, explains in layman's terms what cricket is all about. That is how we then became the most award for scholars with cricket. Wow, that's good start, isn't it? Now we're going. So what do we do then? We say we make next big income. So that one of those buildings became a nursery. This generates £35,000 a year in income. Wow! So we are vibrant with Facebook, now we're vibrant. Fantastic stuff. In cricket, there's a project called All-Star Cricket, which is 5 to 8 years old. supporting 60,000 kids. That club there has been the fastest growing for that. So it all started kids, small kids, and the rest is. Let's see this. Look at that in 3 with 3. Down the road from where they are, this is Tesco Extra. 2 of the parents work at Tesco Extra, who became sponsors of the club. And they sponsored all the stuff of their own in the family, including the 50 dogs. I can't look myself to get it. Remember, in 2015, November, on the 20th of November, I'm helping them to run a community day because the other building is going to be a community hub. We're raising £400,000 to community funds. They're going to tell welcomers, now, all moms, who never seen a piggyback before in their life. So you come down there, welcome. That's how we grow and grow and grow. Become much more than people. They are now basically named themselves from West Core, picking up to babies in the community. The funny thing is, it could be well. It is good. Quote unquote from Sports Scotland, this is a model community sport club. And it's their slide. You don't have to see the whole staircase and take the first step. You can't keep doing it. Keep doing it, keep doing it. Simple. Nothing, there's no secret apart from a willingness to dedicate to doing it. And they love doing it. As one of them said to me the other day, I must admit now when I drive into the car park and see the before I say, by the way, they are now become a disability sport club. It's a long people. I achieve words. So it's smart for you to be people's lives. This is my version of a team sports life. No, not to be bored. I'd hang out. They get hormones. Physical activity has to be dangerous. You drop out and all that. And you know what, in Yorkshire, now having a situation where the number of operations at your hospital because the remote controls are going into the palm of the kid's hands. No, it wouldn't happen in Wales, but we've got that. So you're now telling me you want to downplay football and train and leave my move there? Right, one of the highest paid sports persons in Denmark is a football or tennis player. It's an e-gate player. 54 years old. He's just won, together with 16 mates, the World Cup that game up in Toronto. Those 7 guys won $12 million. The final was watched by 30,000 people. They beat a team from PSG Paris. PSG Paris and these sports team. As to Man City. What I'm saying to you guys is, I know you can't beat them. Just make sure they join you. I'm getting serious when I say, in Denmark now, the Danish Sport Association are encouraging their sports club to include e-sport in what they do, to engage people who normally do not engage with what they do. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I would rather have those kids down there at your club and occasionally see a football match, be involved, and as a sitting home. PSG and Man City are not football, are they? You know where it's going. And we come back to, unless we change over time, this is part of the world that changes. And teenage girls, so are you suggesting then, like that I get up Saturday morning, 11 o'clock? And you want me to sweat into front of the ball? You know what? I have to think of Instagram account. How can you change the world? And I'm being serious. You You can't say this is how you do it. We must play football every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock instead of happening at 3 o'clock. One thing we need to look at, certainly in football, is how we engage with senior sports. Do they want to play league games all the time? I know you're not league secretaries, but we are looking at what it works for league secretaries because we see that as a big problem, both in football and cricket. That we regimented approach how we've been running our leagues doesn't feel that well. It's an issue. That's where it is the snack time. I know it wouldn't happen in Wales, but I've seen football, I've seen sports clubs in England. In rugby, in football, in cricket, in gymnastics. Why haven't we more of that? I hear you say you can't give people projects. You might go. What would happen at your club if you saw that? What would happen? What would you do? What is that all thinking right now?
Chelsea.
Sorry?
He's put off, isn't he? Where's Chelsea?
Yeah.
It's a wall.
Will he come back next week? If you accept that, you lost. If you accept that, there's no point saying welcome to club, or this is the club, or that club. Yes, I have seen it far too many times. Nobody has mentioned it. One club where I said to the chairman, have you seen that now? Yeah, nobody's like it. No, don't. Just an idea of thought. Because if you've got 40 odd coaches or 30 coaches, and one of them sees that and nothing happens, then you basically say, that's all right. And that is not going to be about it. So remember, people never forget how you feel. That boy there and the feel, remember that feeling. You remember that. It's interesting to see in many sports where they're trying to get women back into secondary netball. The minute women experience the sport in school was so bad, 20 years later they still remember that feeling of not being able to play, not being safe. You remember it? Of course we do. So, I think we're not here. I know it's stupid on here, but my idea is almost stupid. Buy two whiteboards, then print out two. Assign it in a smile. Put these whiteboards. And have pins. At the end of each training session, encourage the players to write down how they feel. Okay, here's the feedback. So what happens if they say something negative? You deal with it. You improve. The funny thing is, I do the fact that I work with gymnastics. I know gymnastics how to do that now. Listen to kids. And if the kids say that coach is a dot. I don't do that. Because the funny thing is, if you don't do that, they will get their mobiles out and tell their mates on Instagram or WhatsApp what knows what. Then you are stupid. You're mega stupid. I know somebody who works at the sport wheel, and they took their kids to the World Cup for the first time. And the guy there is a manager at sport wheel, and his wife's a teacher. So they went down to the World Cup because the 9-year-old son said, I want people to be there. I can see myself being the young. Yeah. That was very nice. And this what we could do there. And for 10 minutes, they just flew the ball. Nothing really happened. Then for 15 minutes, there was 9-year-old kids who sat on the ground. The first time ever to be coached discuss tactics. And hoping the evening, the dad said, so what do you think? It was told the whole. I know it wouldn't have a blue club. And you can imagine that conversation that they said that we were talking about the coaching education. So how do you make sure how people feel? If you're a 9-year-old, you don't touch the ball, so they're sitting on a cold ground being bumped to by a bobby coach. It's simply fun. So there she is. It's a family club. She decided I want to play football. She doesn't know anybody. She doesn't know about game. She has a football coach. What's that girl feeling like? Intimidated. How do you feel? What should happen now? Scottish Athletics had a project with 16 clubs actually were encouraged to have meters and greeters. One club got 48 new members and 16 volunteers. You can all laugh at American churches for the Canada. You know what? They could be disagreements. What's up in church? Go there. If you know what, I'll get you a mask on. She's going to say, what's up this for? And she will never. You know what? I'm not in all this control of basic schools. So, what do you think of that statement? Do you agree? Is that too far-fetched? Is that too management? What would you say to the club? Do that? What do you think about that? People like great experiences? So, any other answers? And remember, the great experience for you is not the same experience for me. And often I've seen people say, "This is, I like doing this, why can't we?" You're not 14-year-old. I like thinking, I like to do that. I want to play this Saturday afternoon. When I was a kid, we played this Saturday afternoon. Yeah. This is what this is. It's called having customers, isn't it? That customer experience is different. Believe it or not, or maybe not, I don't go until 18:30 holidays. The days of the all night singing, dancing, maybe not one. I'm not inside the holiday yet, but I'm sure they will be on. You're the saga at 18:30, that was the holiday industry, aren't they? If you want a quiet day, you don't go to 18:30 because anyone will hit there. Fine. So don't do that. That great experience is different for different people. They're people different too. Charge them kids. I've been out to the club, I've done this. Good. It's fine. I've done this before. It's fine, actually. I thought it was difficult, but it isn't. I'll go back next week. And you know what? I think in the football group, the first couple of seasons was alright. So I call them coach football pro. A football pro is a person who has great people experience and they keep focusing on getting people. In Spain, they call them two-siders, and that's what we can call them welcomes. Normally, it's interesting in this all-star cricket program. One thing we discovered there was that often we've got those 15-year-old kids active, but it's not the coaches. Those 5-year-old kids can't play cricket, of course. They can throw a ball in the air and stand it. The best activators in that program was young females. The coaches couldn't help coaching them. That program is probably the most successful program ever to get young people into sport. Very into sport. On the way, what also happened was they got 60,000 sets of new patterns coming to the top. So that football program should not be a football. It should be preferably a female. Someone who's friendly. Somebody works in a hotel or Disney, but you know what I'm talking about. It's not with the coach. So it's about how do we find out what people think. Everything called conversations. Be honest. You can have conversations in two ways, face-to-face and online. Or 12-year-olds who come to tell you online about face-to-face what they think. They can help you use social media. You need to be aware of that, because if you hear that stuff, what they say, do something. So from now on training evenings, backstage, whatever, you're not allowed to talk to your fellow committee members. Talk to people, new people. Talk to the parents that kid has only just down for the first time. And they say something that you don't like, they may give you an idea, they may comment on something. Really? I know nothing better than doing this workshop because I learn from you guys. You tell me things. Not pass them on. Conversation is a fantastic tool for many young kids to have their face-to-face conversation. It's difficult. You know what? And just do online. So we now are welcoming club. We now have a great place. We got a vision, a strategy, and that is your club then because you are for the community. Your communities all look different. We can do it with a car if you can't do it with a number for the one point. Let's have a look. Universities, colleges, what have they got? They've got students. What the students got? They've got a desire and need to go out there and become better. Good. National University got 350 students who are mentoring and volunteering in sports. I strongly suggest that you go down and see local colleges and university and students look at what they do and see how they can help you with skills. I was with a gymnastics club in North Cardiff the other day, and they brought me in to do some work there. Came to one of my workshops, and so I went up there at their warehouse where they're based, and not a bit tough area. Opened the door, it was fantastic. And we did a workshop there for the people involved. And that big white board in the warehouse. MoreThanAClub College now agreed to decorate those boards for the art students. So where's the do that? I was happy to do. One thing, the more you work in universities and colleges, you will get skills, you will get contacts, and you know what? The University of Manchester, they have a thing called the President's Medal. You want to sit for 6 hours, it goes on your CV. When I was corporate and I would hire young graduates, we never asked them about their degrees. Oh, can there be a book? Of course they would. Their students. What did you do? They're running the next companies, publishing companies. So if they ran the students board or the students bar, we get it. The more you can be in, the more you can do stuff. Housing, I mentioned earlier about housing. Housing like sport, because we keep you active. Give me an example, Queen's Park Rangers Community Foundation, who I've been working with, deliver football in 5 housing associations. Yes, that doesn't mean that 7-year-old kids play football against 11-year-old kids, because that's where they live. And so what can people say? By doing that, you develop relationships and contact, and dare I say, funding you normally have access to. The council, of course, they've got that. You know what? That also looks at what people want, because you can have the 2 stuff in the council. Other clubs, sports, not Indians. Share facilities. Local businesses. Why can't you organise a local exercise? final side, second side, businesses in the area. 1 year in Bedford, I decided to record the 7th, so 27th. Charles Wells is the biggest employer in Bedford, property area. So we called the property area. They became a sponsor and we achieved it. Made £5,000 a month. So in my case, now said to there was one of the clubs that at the workshop last week, Newtown, they got one business, local business, who are given 100 hours of their market design department. That's quite clever. So being professional design, professional material is now completely developed as well. No money, 100 hours of professional advice. Please and fire service. I was involved in helping Doncaster Girls to join the Women's Super League many years ago. And they were the only club that week. That point, we were not so cool about this club. So they took in there, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, etc. We had 10 times more. So we needed to be innovative. So we set up a thing called Doncaster Bells, called Bells for the Community. It wasn't football, it was putting Doncaster on the map because we got there. Do you want Doncaster Bells to play against Chelsea Arsenal? Yeah. So we did that. At the launch, the little college, lots of people turned up, used stuff, and also 2 guys from South Florida bought the flag. It's very nice to do that. And after the meeting, they said, can we have a chat? Okay. And we might be interested in becoming a church sponsor. And what is that? 50,000? Yeah. So South Florida Fire History became the sponsor of Doncaster Girls the first 2 years in the industry. 2 of the players all became ambassadors, so they would go into the top part of Doncaster, engage with young kids, why they should not make false alarms. Why would the fire brigade sponsor a musical team? Recruitment. Only 8% of firefighters are female. No, I haven't thought about one either. My point is to you guys, the more you do stuff like this, the more opportunities will open. Community groups, the health sector. There's a thing now called social prescribing, which is becoming very, very big. The health sector now looking to sports organizations and community organizations to deal with loneliness, obesity, because they know now, it's now proven that we can help do that. One Playing Fields Association has just run a project where they've got lots of men with mental health problems playing football with some amazing results. Funded by this foster club in Manchester, one young kid there lost 2 stone in 2 years. The health guys love that because teenage kids are more likely now to become people that. Of course, food. So you see what I mean? You've got community around you, and you should eat your community and give it to your community. So sit down and say, right, who do you know? What's good like? But also remember, living a club, but also people who are not in the community. You got connectors. People are not people. Being a connector is not a job title. You're chatting lady down in Tesco, she's a connector. Do you know what your parents do? Living? You know? If you don't, not know them all. Some of them are connectors. I was in one club the other day, one of your colleagues, they could use a 7-minute video to get what they're doing. They went to see the leader of the council, and after that, they got 200,000. Nothing to do with it. We could share that story with you. So it's about create a community club. You providing health, social inclusion and learning. That is what society wants. So that is the shared value. What do you want? You want people with skills, you want money. That's not very community. Somehow. I mentioned earlier about this ladies' lodge, and I mentioned this to a cricket club up in Scotland, and the guy at home said to his wife, you know what's funny is the ladies' lodge. He said, you know what? I know every single woman in this part of town. I don't like cricket, I don't understand cricket. You know what? I'll do that. So the first ladies' lunch for that, it was Galaxies, or Galaxies, 45 minutes turned up. The second one, 80 minutes. And now we're a ladies' section, and they made £5,000. Because that woman knew every single lady in that town. She's not in the committee, she's not involved, she is now. I couldn't do that because I don't know any women in Galaxies. So connect us with connects us to different areas. Use them. This is Galloway Club. This is in the middle of nowhere in Scotland. The nearest supermarket is 30 miles away. It is, you know, pack your bag and 4 days later you arrive. Population 1,000 people. You can't do anything there. It's impossible. That's my fault. No, I didn't. I shall not there one day. And paper back in Scotland, and that clubhouse was derelict. The ladies' toilets were in the woods. That's a former championship. So Cricket Scotland were involved. We did a thing called Cricket Force with the Healthy Clubs. This is the former manager of the Scotland national side. Let's start doing things. Oh, remember the population of 1,000 people. People were involved. There's just one thing about those Cricket Clubs. Sorry. No women. None of them are very white. That's just people having a way of time in their community. It happens to be cricket. It could be cheating. Remember her, by the way, I'm going to tell you a story about her. So they start doing things. So after we got involved and we start having what stupid things can we do? We want to create a vibrant business club. There's a thing called beach cricket. It's not in Jamaica. They did beach cricket in October in Scotland in this case. And it's stupid. Of course it is, deliberately. So they had one of the mountains in Scotland 2,500 feet. So we now play cricket at the top of the mountain. If you're a 12-year-old kid, you know, you got up the mountain yesterday, played cricket. That's cool, isn't it? And 24 more people. Local businesses got involved, the floodlights in, all the rest of it. And check it. They started spreading the word. When I go there, up there, I normally stay at one hotel, and the hotel manager, the owner, is now in the committee because of that. So by being silly, they became more than a cricket club, because if they were just a cricket club in a community with 1,000 people, it would have happened. It did. Not badly. There's local people who are involved, supported, not bigger. That's for 3 years. Okay. And I'm not going to say about it. So we need to have a great place. You all see that sign? But sometimes I feel that many coaches haven't. So let's have a look. Let's see some of the stories we can show you from page.
Recently been using local facilities for my employment. It's really a huge difference for them, especially the junior section and mini section itself. You're able to play more games on it. The there's already, like I said, more teams looking at the club because we know that the facilities in Iowa and it's the dream which is in place to for the play football.
If you can imagine, on the ground in a season, juniors playing 12 games, to juniors playing 30 games, it says it all day.
We're people from personal links to the local schools, really getting already use it for sports days, but with the new friends who are on the ground, it's much safer for them. It's not an overnight job, but it does drag on for a very long time. Although the process is pretty straightforward, filling in forms, that
Don't give up. Keep trying. Ask for advice. There's plenty of bodies out there who can help you. Just don't give up.
That's how we provide a nice environment, isn't it? I'm not saying it's easy, but it can be. It's a normal guy to do it. The other day I was up in Chester, and Brown Power turned up. You've maybe got part of that. And they showed me how they have created 3 girls teams and grown their membership by 50%. And I'm not going to show you a video, which for some coaches might be a bit disturbing, because nothing to do with coaching. Is called having fun. And we've forgotten sometimes it's important to have fun. Does that happen in your club? It's called football for us. Command 3D pages, share, and bring it in something. Sometimes work together, the all take can be having a chat. Sometimes it is that simple. So, having fun, being innovative in how we generate income, collaborate. Also, make damn well sure people know what you're on about. Then do that mission statement every single match day program where they go. And better than that, every match day program starts with enjoy the ethics. Simple. There's no point having a mission statement no one knows about it, apart from the committee. Again, you get this sweet one more. So, we have a break, but hopefully now I'll give you some ideas of how, if you get the foundations right, get a thinking right, you can create much more than just a football. A break, try this out. So what do you want? It's not. Yeah. This is 45.
Apparently she went to bed and now
Yeah.
Yes, this have to be eaten, so please
Yeah. Right, okay. So we now have a club that's been built coming as part of the community. You're doing exciting stuff, you're nice coaches who are smiling and friendly or testing. How do you now tell the world about you? There are two ways of doing it: social media and BC Weekly Music. You need to listen to people's lives. Because you need to go down. If your kids are in the shopping center, go to the shopping center. If they are on Instagram, go to Instagram. If you don't know how to go to the shopping center, just go to Instagram, find something you can. That's how simple it is. Speak the language, go there. I've got an MBA marketing, that's my marketing plan. So why are so few clubs doing it? Because we don't really know how this whole new world is changing to us. Your best marketing tool is a customer acquisition and a great experience. You know what, that open day was brilliant. You know what, I came down and you know what, they did football for us. You know, it was brilliant. All dancing around, having a great time. I'm going to tell my story. As opposed to, we just beat the club down the road in 5 minutes. Who cares? Don't advertise. Create great experiences and tell the world. If you think about it, within your club, you've got X number of kids, parents, coaches, involved, they've got siblings. If you add up that social network, then you add a community. It's massive. Absolutely massive. Use it. Use to hopefully the credibility and the goodwill you have in your community. Because remember, the first session, part of this session was how do we create that? I call it have money in the goodwill bank, goodwill account. Some people call it social capital. If you're overdrawn a goodwill account in the local community bank, you'll be too funny. But if you have a goodwill in the community account and you need a favor from the community, what you want? I know a water club up in Scarborough moved to a new ground. They started picking up some noises. They've been engaging with the community. They had to spend £51,000 in legal fees to have a music license. At one point, they were told they couldn't play music, so when England played Ireland on the 19th game, they couldn't play the national anthem. Because they didn't bother to engage with the community and the community turned against them, it became a war. It's a true story. £51,000 in legal fees. All they should have done was, hello neighbour, we just moved here and make it last year. Engage with the community, talk to people. So, go from letters to Instagram. That's what simple is. Use those tools that are out there. If I was still stuffing envelopes, letters, this morning, last night, I had a message on my website from the South Island, New Zealand. You might be interested in delivering some stuff for the clubs, for webinars and stuff. I've never been to New Zealand, I hope we go to New Zealand. Because we're not going to use these tools to engage. Isn't that fantastic? It is. 37% of the waking hours are online. No, I haven't made this up. This is from China. That lane, you can use your mobile phone, that lane you can't. And where are you going? Wait. I was walking down the street in Copenhagen, and this teenage girl came on a mobile phone, back to me. Where are we going, man? Guys, work with it. Don't fight again because you can't. Because that's how it be in life might be. So if you're not part of that world, you're not part of their world. Full stop. I'm not suggesting for one moment that you guys become Instagram experts, which you won't. Full stop. You don't speak that language. Don't try to pretend to you because you don't. You used to publish them on Facebook. Oh, that's for old people. No, you're not looking for. So the more we use people to engage them and speak their language, the more we are in tune with their lives. Oh, remember this girl I showed earlier from Calais? She showed me a video she could use to make people. Wait a second. There's no way we engage in not 50 year olds. So I said, that's pretty cool. Yeah, okay. So I quickly started and said that, you know what, let's look at a thing called superscription. But we encourage the clubs to send in videos, 30-second videos, by creating school for kids. A key criterion is the person who produced that video could not be above 18. 37 clubs out of 50 did that. And there was no what. Then we ran a workshop for them. So I was standing in a middle of Scotland. We had about 27 young people from different clubs. All stuff that cost money. I wasn't going to tell them about Instagram, was I? Those young people said, I'm important, I've been taken seriously. So we now got around 50 of those young people who are now volunteers, not only the committee, but they're in charge of the social media in those clubs. Intriguingly, that 50-year-old girl and her mate from Galloway, in the middle of nowhere, we invited her to Edinburgh to speak to some of the big clubs there who didn't have an agency. So those two girls came over with their parents at these one-of places, and two of those clubs now, because those two 50-year-old girls now have girls close to them. Those two 50-year-old girls were pretty. So don't you try and be trendy and smart because you're not. Use dumb people, they can do it for you and let you get on with it. If they want to do live streaming, do live streaming. Be part of that world. In 2006, when YouTube really was pretty young, this young kid was fed up having to explain to his mates that orienteering is. Orienteering is not the coolest sport in town for kids. So about 5 minutes, orienteering for kids. Look. This is a control description. This is what it's thinking. 175,000 views in 2006 of orienteering. So he's got an unusual surname. So look him up. Get who's doing that? At your university, orienteering is the same thing. It's bigger than what you're doing. YouTube is a fantastic thing to spread the word. But people really talk to do it for you. They don't have to do it for us. They do. I mean, I have a 16-year-old girl who doesn't like football with my videos, they're competing. Emails are important, those counts. Keep telling your story. So when the head of the housing association comes to your open day and you get here's her email address, you know what? You send them an email about your work. I use a thing called mailship. The 2,000 contact is free. So every Monday morning, I do this and 9,000 emails go. That's how I get my business. I did this and 7,000 contact me. I did this and 3,000 people. Simple. 80% information, 20% sales. Tell your story. And not about whether you're on the night or on the league. But the fact how you change lives, how you do things, how you engaged. Get somebody in your club whose job it is to do that. They'll say that same place, I can do it for life. Say if you, I can do it for you. Tell your stories. That you build up credibility and reputation for being part of the community. a call free and online time. All these tools exist. I'm not going to fill them all because I haven't got time for that. You got my time, no problem. I know of a council in the Midlands who spent £40,000 to try and get young teenagers to use the SS What do they do? Put ads on local pages and put it to writers. One thing teenage kids don't do is local papers and get around. The number of young people who had the voucher for that, for £40,000 was 6. Thank God I paid council tax there. There was